Elvis Presley and his vehicles. Part 30. The 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special. In late spring of 1959, Elvis owned 3 cars while living at the rented house at 14 Goethestrasse in Bad Nauheim. The 1957 BMW 507, which he mainly used himself, the 1959 Mercedes 220S which his father used for the most part, and the 1958 VW Beetle, which were for his friends Red and Lamar to use. So he pretty much had the cars he needed. In late May 1959, one of the Army captains ended his military service in Germany and was going home to the States. He owned a tan 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special, and needed to sell it to get some extra cash. Elvis in a generous manner offered to buy the Cadillac to help him out. Elvis didn't really need the car, however he figured he could use it once in a while when he didn't want to drive the small sporty BMW. Also, the Cadillac undoubtedly made him feel much more at home. The 1953 Cadillac models were facelifted versions of those of the previous 3 years. The biggest change was prominent Dagmar bumperettes, which grew exponentially over the 1952's units. The 1953 models, according to the copywriters, was the perfect automobile to introduce Cadillac's second half-century of achievement and leadership. They featured some beautiful new interiors, an equally new 210 horsepower engine, advanced power steering, improved hydromatic transmission and a new air conditioning system. The 1953 60 Special rode a hardy 130-inch wheelbase, 4 inches longer than a Series 62 Coupe or sedan. Of course, being a 60 Special, most everything was standard, including the V8 engine, hydromatic, plush seating and many electric gadgets. Exactly 20,000 1953 Fleetwood 60 Specials were built. This is one of the earliest photos of Elvis with his 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special. It's shot in late May of 1959. A few days after this photo was taken, Elvis was promoted to Specialist 4th Class. The 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood was the first and only American-made car he owned while over in Germany. To the left, the Cadillac parked outside his house. To the right, Elvis sporting a hat getting into the Cadillac. Pretty strange outfit. Elvis wearing both a helmet and a hat just for fun. At 6:30 a.m. Elvis would leave the house and drive to Ray Barracks. Most days, if he was not away on maneuvers, he would come home for lunch. Sometimes he would sign autographs before coming in for lunch. In the evening he would return home from the base in time for dinner. At 7:30 p.m. he would go out and sign autographs for fans until 8 p.m. Fans weren't the only ones pictured with Elvis. Fellow Army buddies also wanted a piece of him. August 1959, there are only a handful known color photos of the 1953 Cadillac. Here are 2 of those. August 19, 1959, the 1953 Cadillac parked outside Elvis' house. Elvis owned it for 9 months, which was about the same amount of time he owned his 1957 BMW 507. Between June 23 and August 8 Elvis' father Vernon was in Memphis taking care of business. In this photo he's back in Germany and pictured with Elizabeth Stefaniak outside the house at 14 Goethestrasse. Elvis' 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special had the license plate number G301 when Elvis got it. Elvis owned Cadillacs from each model year from 1953 through 1977, except for the year 1959. The reason for that is because Elvis spent all of 1959 in Germany. Elvis out meeting fans at 14 Goethestrasse. Many fans wanted Elvis to hold their baby while taking a picture of him. Was that for good luck? January 8, 1960, Elvis celebrated his 25th birthday. The first one to greet Elvis was fan Klaus Ilge, who waited outside his house at 6:50 a.m. in the morning. Klaus knew that Elvis was about to drive to the barracks in Friedberg and asked him for a ride there in the Cadillac. Elvis said okay. Manfred Hilterhaus was another fan who met Elvis in 1960. He was on rehabilitation in Bad Nauheim. At this time the license plates on the Cadillac had been changed to G7100. January 17, 1959, Elvis is signing some autographs outside his house at 14 Goethestrasse. Elvis is receiving some gifts from fan Manfred Jonen, after getting out of the Cadillac. Fans from all over Europe traveled to Elvis' house at 14 Goethestrasse, hoping to get a glimpse of him. If you weren't lucky enough to meet Elvis, Second best was getting a picture next to Elvis' car. Elvis in his army uniform arriving home in the Cadillac after a day at the army base. Lots of fans had gathered outside his house waiting for his arrival. One of the last days at the barracks in Friedberg. Elvis with sergeant stripes attached to the shirt. March 2, 1960, Sergeant Elvis Presley leaves the house he and his family occupied in Bad Nauheim. Elvis' time in Germany was over and he was pretty happy to be going home to the USA and continue his career. On March 5 Elvis was discharged from the army. Elvis fans congregate at the house in which Elvis and his family lived, shortly after he left the house for the last time. The only thing he left behind was the 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special. It's not known what happened to the Cadillac after that. It wasn't exactly new and looked a little beaten up. Elvis probably gave the car to someone he knew over there. And that is it, on this subject. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe, share and like this video for more episodes about Elvis's cars.